And my question is why? We all know that China claims that Taiwan is part of China, but there's no basis in international law. There was an unresolved civil war between the Kuomintang political party and the Chinese Communist Party in China. So this war was not resolved, and the Kuomintang fled to Taiwan and set up their own government in Taiwan. So Taiwan has never been a part of the People's Republic of China. So what is Apple doing? My guess is that it's under increasing pressure from China to censor users in Taiwan in order to keep its market share in China. And my comment to Tim Cook would be, do you want to lose other Apple users around the world as more people become aware of this arbitrary censorship, this unfair censorship? So Apple has work to do. It definitely needs to adhere to the law, but not overstep the law, not go beyond what the law requires, especially in a democratic country like Taiwan. Okay. Hi, thanks for watching Jason Adam TV on YouTube. If you haven't, please subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and leave some comments in the comment section. Okay, today's topic, I'm going to start out with Apple. So, according to ZDNet, which is a famous computer and electronics magazine, in an article that's, let's see, dated August 19th, 2021, it says, Citizen Lab finds Apple's China censorship process bleeds into Hong Kong and Taiwan. So this is concerning because evidently the terms that Apple censors in Taiwan are a subset of the terms that it censors in Hong Kong, which themselves are a subset of the terms that are censored in China. Of course, most of the censorship goes on in China, less in Hong Kong, and less in Taiwan. But the idea that that Apple would use some of the terms from the Chinese blacklist as terms to censor in Taiwan is concerning. So according to the article, it says Apple's application of filters for blocking content in China has seeped into how it operates in Hong Kong and Taiwan, according to Citizen Lab researchers. According to research performed by Citizen Lab, Apple's application of filters, which pertain to derogatory, racist, sexual, and sometimes political content, censor more than what is required by a certain region's moderation regulations. The research looked at keyword filtering rules used by Apple to moderate content across China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Canada, and the United States. While the 6 jurisdictions each have different regulatory and political environments that may affect Apple's filtering decisions and content moderation policies, Citizen Lab found the censorship applied within China also bled into both Hong Kong and Taiwan, with much of this censorship exceeding Apple's legal obligations. In Taiwan, Apple does not have any legal obligation to perform political censorship, but it still blocks engravings related to the Chinese Communist Party, China's state organs, and political religious groups like Falun Gong. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong, Apple broadly censors references to collective action, such as the Umbrella Revolution, Hong Kong Democratic Movement, double universal suffrage, and freedom of the press. Although the national security law took effect in Hong Kong last year, which can potentially be used to mandate entities and individuals to remove political content, freedom of expression is legally protected in the region under the city's basic law and the Bill of Rights. Beyond Apple double-dipping China's filtering practices in Hong Kong and Taiwan, the iPhone maker at times also made arbitrary blocks. In one case, Citizen Lab said that Apple censored 10 Chinese names, surnamed Zhang, with generally unclear significance, although it said the names were also on a list used to censor products from a Chinese company. So basically, this research group, Citizen Lab, found that Apple is overstepping its legal requirements in censoring keywords and engravings in Taiwan. And my question is, why? We all know that China claims that Taiwan is part of China, but there's no basis in international law. There was an unresolved civil war between the Kuomintang political party and the Chinese Communist Party in China. So this war was not resolved, and the Kuomintang fled to Taiwan and set up their own government in Taiwan. So Taiwan has never been a part of the People's Republic of China. So what is Apple doing? My guess is that it's under increasing pressure from China to censor users in Taiwan in order to keep its market share in China. And my comment to Tim Cook would be, do you want to lose other Apple users around the world as more people become aware of this arbitrary censorship, this unfair censorship? So Apple has work to do. It definitely needs to adhere to the law, but not overstep the law, not go beyond what the law requires, especially in a democratic country like Taiwan. Okay, in another article, China is aiming its propaganda fire hose at the British Broadcasting Company, or BBC. So this article appeared in Wired magazine, dated August 18th, 2021. And it says that Chinese trolls and fake news websites have been attacking BBC in a bid to undermine its credibility, new research published today claims. The online influence operation, which is being linked to the Chinese Communist Party, is seemingly a response to BBC's reporting on human rights abuses against Uyghur Muslims and state-backed misinformation campaigns. The new research from analysts at a cybersecurity company, Recorded Future, claims that the likely state-sponsored operation used hundreds of websites and social media accounts to attack the BBC's reporting. In particular, the network has accused the BBC of adding a filter to its reports from China to make the country look dull and lifeless. The propaganda campaign claims that the BBC used a gloom filter or an underworld filter and has promoted this view widely, says Charity Wright, a threat intelligence analyst who conducted the research for Recorded Future's Insight Group. What hit me the hardest according to Charity Right, what hit me hardest was the scope of this campaign, how big it was, and the amount of posts and the volume of this particular narrative that we found, Wright says. Social media posts, websites containing malware, and official spokespeople have pushed the idea of gloom or underworld filters. So she's talking about Chinese social media posts and Chinese websites containing malware and official Chinese spokespeople. So they're pushing this idea of gloom or underworld filters being used on the BBC. The Recorded Future researchers cite a number of reasons for their confidence that the campaign is sponsored by the Chinese state. The volume of activity, a clear narrative against the BBC that fits the CCP's politics, coordination across Chinese state-sponsored media apparatus, and the use of Mandarin and foreign language content all contributed to its decision. The campaign's alignment with the CCP's objectives create a clear picture of how the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, is conducting large-scale information operations to counter criticism and censor foreign media, the research concludes. The operation is seemingly part of a wider crackdown on what Chinese officials see as unjust criticism from international media. In February, BBC World News was banned from broadcasting in China. But Recorded Future's research reveals a more covert side to China's attack on the UK's national broadcaster. In recent weeks, the cybersecurity firm has identified 57 websites pushing the narrative that the BBC altered its images of China, Wright says. What I saw was a lot of their podcast interviews and photos accusing the BBC of this activity was happening in very random fringe websites, Wright says. Some of them are associated with adware and malware. Then some just appear to look like news websites in Chinese or English. She explains that the details of the gloom filter on the sites was often one paragraph of text, among other stories. It was the same narrative over and over again, which made this campaign very easy to identify. It didn't list sources, it didn't list authors, it was just a blurb. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. In the last 6 months, there have been more than 11,000 Mandarin references to gloom filter, quote unquote, on social media, with more than half of them coming in the last 30 days. Recorded Future found. English language mentions of BBC Underworld Filter have also spiked during the last 6 weeks. Across 8 different social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Weibo, WeChat, Bilibili, and Douyin, there have been more than 36,000 uses of the phrase. Some accounts use generic profile pictures such as images of animals or the countryside, Wright said, adding that the accounts appear to work in groups. There were 5 to 10 accounts supporting each other in some instances and defending each other in comments against Westerners, she says. What we've seen in the past with these types of campaigns is that they want to target Western audiences that speak English, Wright says. They also want to target the Chinese diaspora around the world. The Chinese Foreign Ministry did not respond to a request for comment. So these suggestions that the BBC has used a filter to alter its pictures of China have been around since at least February of last year. The Chinese state-owned tabloid newspaper Global Times claimed BBC reporting on Wuhan had, quote, sparked uproar among people living in China, as it was alleged the footage included a grayish filter in its English version. The use of the terms on social media has exploded in recent weeks following the BBC reporting around foreign influencers who live in China. On July 11th, the BBC reported on China's disinformation drive and exposed how foreign pro-China influencers use YouTube and other social media to defend the country's policies. And I mentioned this article in an earlier video. Coordinated videos, the BBC reported, had appeared on the influencers' YouTube channels to defend China's treatment of Uyghurs. The report also said that many of the influencers have appeared in videos for CGTN, which is China's English language state-sponsored news channel. The attack against the BBC has even attracted the attention of Chinese government officials. On July 20th, Li Jianzhao, a spokesperson for China's foreign ministry, tweeted #gloomfilter comes again about images the BBC used in its disinformation article about China. So this article goes into more detail, but basically what it's about is China is trying to push this false narrative that the BBC is using a gloom filter on its pictures and information coming out of its reporting on China to supposedly make China look bad. As far as I know, there is no information supporting China's claim that the BBC is purposefully using a gloom filter. But this does highlight the fact that China is paying a massive amount of people to attack its detractors on social media, on fake news sites around the world. So China is trying to use disinformation against people who have reported on issues in China in the past and in the present, especially with regards to Xinjiang province and Uyghur Muslims, and the genocide of the Uyghur Muslims taking place in Xinjiang province. So China is trying to expand its censorship and disinformation campaign around the world. You can see China's influence in Apple products. You can see it in the media. So China is not content with controlling the information going to its own people. It's now trying to control the information going to you and I and other people, other world citizens who are not Chinese citizens. And we need to put a stop to it. We need to call it out whenever we see disinformation or attempts to silence the free media, the media in democratic countries. We need to call it out for what it is, and we need to boycott those companies that help China to perpetuate its disinformation campaign. Okay, thank you for watching Jason Adam TV. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and leave comments in the comment section below. Bye-bye.